What's up, everyone? It's Caddy with Money Investing. Another market open live stream here, and we'll go over the retail sales, the earnings. There's a lot of things that we need to talk about. So thank you so much for joining in. Right now, we've got the QQQ ETF slightly down 17 basis points. SPY is also pulling back a little bit over 7 basis points, and the Dow Jones just up over 17 basis points right now. So once again, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wherever you guys are watching from, Rivian is definitely a lot higher. Last time I checked, it was up a little bit over 10%. So actually 11% now, so definitely pushing higher. A lot of momentum for the stock, up to as high as 166 now. So let's just quickly break down the retail sales first. So retail sales jumped in October in a third straight month of gains. So sales climbed 1.7%, following an 80 basis point increase in September. The Commerce Department reported Tuesday, and rose for the third straight month in October, even as companies increased prices for goods and dealt with shipping delays, supply chain disruptions, and labor shortages ahead of the holiday season. A rise in consumer prices is partially driven the gains with the cost of goods, cost of food, gasoline, and other household goods climbing sharply. Consumer prices. Of course, inflation is up over 6.2% in the month of October. Same time last year. That's like the year-over-year change, but definitely a strong move in retail sales as well. Talking about the earnings, so we did have a lot of companies report: Walmart, Home Depot, Jumia. Let's take a quick look where that stock is trading at pre-market. Down a little bit over 4%. So again, we'll break this down in a more detailed when we go over to our charts. But then we also had NetEase, some of those companies reported, and then after the markets closed, there's not really any companies that I'm interested in. But then tomorrow, of course, there's a lot of companies reporting, including Target, Nvidia, Baidu, Cisco, Lowe's. We got a couple of interviews tomorrow as well. Why isn't the video showing? Is it really not showing? Let me know in the live chat if the video is not working. It should be working. But Home Depot Improvement Retailer reported third quarter profit of $3.92 versus 52 cents. That was the consensus estimate. So big beat for the company. Revenue also beat street forecasts. Comparable store sales were up better than expected, 6.1%. The stock was up a little bit over 1.1% pre-market. Walmart jumped 2% pre-market trading after beating on top and bottom lines. Raising full-year forecast, Walmart earned $1.45 per share for the third quarter, 5 cents above share estimates, consensus estimates from Wall Street as well. Tesla, this was actually interesting. So CEO Elon Musk sold another $930 million in shares to meet a tax obligation after exercising options to buy 2.1 million shares. And separately, JP Morgan is suing Tesla, accusing it of breaching a contract related to stock warrants. So this was interesting. This actually came out more than 12 hours ago, but JP Morgan sues Tesla for $162 million in warrants dispute around Elon Musk take private tweets. Came out yesterday for me, a little bit earlier, depending on where you're watching from, but so I really dodged a bullet on that Mara exit. I really did. Mara has been coming down significantly, and of course nobody can time the bottom or the top, but yeah, it's a good thing that we exited out of Upstart and Mara. I think both of those might have been priced for perfection when we exited, and after that they've just been on this decline, and both stocks had a really brutal day yesterday. But we'll be re-entering Mara specifically because I'm really interested. I think the company is being subpoenaed by the SEC. That was one of the reasons why it was down so much. But JP Morgan filed a suit against electric vehicle maker Tesla in a dispute over warrants, according to court filings on Monday, and the bank is seeking $162.2 million plus interest, attorney fees, and expenses. JP Morgan alleges that Tesla has breached the terms of a contract that companies assigned pertaining to repricing the warrants, and Tesla was supposed to deliver shares or cash if its share price went above a contractually set quote-unquote strike price by a certain expiration date. But a dispute rose when JP Morgan made adjustments to the value of the warrants when Tesla CEO Musk tweeted in August 2018 that he was considering taking the company private for $420 a share. And again, when he re-signed it, the idea of privatizing Tesla a few weeks later. JP Morgan claims a contractual right to make those adjustments, while Tesla said in a letter that they were unreasonably swift and represented an opportunistic attempt to take advantage of changes in volatility in Tesla's stock. In the 16 months that followed, Tesla stock bottomed out 3-year low, just around $177 per share in June 2019, before shooting past $420 per share in December last year. and Musk was later charged with securities fraud. Of course, we went over that earlier. And really, the complaint essentially says that in total, Tesla failed to deliver 220,775 shares of its common stock, leaving JP Morgan with an open hedge position equal to that shortfall. So that is very, very interesting. We'll see what comes out of the whole conclusion of this lawsuit, but that is definitely big news for, of course, both JP Morgan and Tesla as well. So no audio. I feel like everything's working fine. I don't know. It seems to be working fine, right? Both the audio and the video should be working okay. I just don't know why there's a few people saying that the video is not working and the audio is not working. All right. I mean, it seems like majority of people can see me and hear me, so we should be all set. Okay. Lucid surged 8.5%. So they had their earnings yesterday after the markets closed, reported that more than 17,000 reservations, up from 13,000 same quarter. Actually, prior quarter, so quarter over quarter, we're seeing a 4,000 increase. And Lucid also confirmed 2022 production targets. Workday, the human resource software company, added 2.4% pre-market after UBS upgraded the stock to buy from neutral on indications of stronger HR system spending. So Peloton also filed for another share offering, sells up to $1 billion in stock. So just when you thought things could not possibly get worse for Peloton, they are issuing up to $1 billion in shares. So Bank of America downgrades Oatly to neutral from buy. So just going over some of the quick upgrades and downgrades. Goldman Sachs downgrades Southwest, another downgrade for Southwest in the last 2 weeks, unfortunately. And this is because of the cost pressures for the company, because of rising oil prices, energy prices, and this is actually really late from Goldman. We had another bank downgrade Southwest. As a result, this was selling off, but Goldman coming on board as well. Peloton is up 4% pre-market. Yeah, I did look at that. This actually didn't make sense even after this headline just said shares drop, and I looked at it, it was like flat. And right now, as somebody mentioned, that they are up. So we'll go over that in just a minute. Bank of America reiterates Chevron as a buy. Loop initiates coverage of PayPal as a buy as well. So PayPal has definitely been on the radar for us. We've been dollar cost averaging on this stock. Wedbush reiterates Apple has outperformed. Credit Suisse initiates coverage on Oracle has outperformed. Morgan Stanley downgrades QuantumScape to equal weight from overweight. And they are DCF-derived price targets, so discounted cash flows at $40 versus $70 previously, which is in line with the current share price. So essentially just equal weight for the company. Credit Suisse initiates coverage on Microsoft as an outperform. I think they see price target north of $400 for the company. And Morgan Stanley reiterates Facebook as overweight as well. This is another stock that we've been buying very heavily recently. So talking very quickly on the markets, and we are slightly down. Yesterday, we did see a little bit of a sell-off. So this right here was the entire sell-off right at the market open 8:30 till about 12 noon. And then we saw a little bit of a rally towards the close, but still ended up closing down red on the day for the NASDAQ, and the S&P also pretty much flat, with the Dow also just about flat as it gets. All right, let's take a look at some of the stocks here. So Alibaba reports later this week. So they are going to be reporting, let's see, they're reporting on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So they are on Thursday before the markets open. So Alibaba is going to be Thursday, Nvidia is going to be Wednesday after the bell, and of course Target, Baidu, and some of the other Chinese companies also report along with United. They're also reporting, not United Airlines, but Manchester United. Yes, so can you explain more on these thesis of Visa and PayPal as inflation head start? So basically the thesis is very simple, right? PayPal essentially benefits from total payment volume, right? Their TPV, that's the top line of which the revenue is derived as a percentage of total payment volume, right? As more people are doing a lot of transactions, both customers and merchants, their total payment volume increases. Now the total payment volume can increase in one of two ways. Either the volume of those transactions increase. So, earlier they're doing 10 transactions, that goes up to 20. Then total payment volume increases, or the prices at which these transactions are happening increases, right? So prices earlier, they were doing it at, let's say, $10, $20, and now it's doing it $40, $50. So total payment volume increases for PayPal. And as a result, their revenue also increases. So if inflation comes, which is here, 6.2% for the CPI, prices are going higher. If customers, merchants continue to do those transactions at higher prices, then the total payment volume for PayPal increases. As a result, their revenue increases. So They've done, a guidance for 18% for next year. $30 billion is what their forecast is for the company for next year, which I do think, it's very difficult to forecast 16 months out because that's what they're really telling us. They're giving us guidance for 15 to 16 months out for 2022. In my opinion, 18% is kind of them lowballing that number with Venmo's partnership with Amazon. I could see north of $31, $32 billion in revenues next year. And of course, they have a target of $50 billion by 2025. So I have no doubt that PayPal is a very strong fintech company with digital wallets with a lot of integrations in the digitization of fintech itself. So they're going to be fine, in my opinion, long term. And this is a short-term weakness that we're taking advantage of. All right, so let's take a look at Mara. Let's discuss Mara. Let's do. So down a little bit over 6%. $58 is actually going to turn into a resistance now. As I've already mentioned in our Discord, I'm interested in the 30s for the stock. And right now, we still have a long ways to go from that level. I'm interested in those moving averages. Definitely would be very, very nice for us to see Mara at roughly $36, $38, kind of aligned with that 200 SMA, 100 simple moving average right there. Is going to be possibly my buy target, at least my initial buy target. My original entry was under $20, and then we ended up selling at 62. And then we will potentially be looking at a re-entry on this one because, this is a lot of overreaction. Bitcoin obviously is selling off. We're down to 60,000 once again. There was another report from China, which is obviously putting a lot of pressure on cryptocurrencies as the company, quote unquote, cleans all the cryptocurrency mining from China as well, right? That was the report that essentially led a lot of cryptocurrencies being under pressure. Ethereum had a huge breakdown below 4,500, coming down to, essentially that 50 SMA is sitting roughly at 4,000, right? It came down to 4,100 before seeing some buyers step in. So down about 5% here. Bitcoin is down over 4.4%. And it's just, it is, it's very cyclical, right? You'll notice these rallies and you'll notice these drawdowns. This is what happened right here. Nice rally of 78%. Then we dropped over 23%. Then we rallied a little bit over 63%. And right now, I would not be surprised, once again to see like 50s or high 40s, low 50s, once again for Bitcoin and Ethereum to also come down to like maybe 3,500, 3,000, like around those levels. And of course, over the long term, still bullish on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. But in the short term, we can take advantage of that volatility with some of the other plays, right, like Riot and Mara, right? Mara was down a little bit more because they were subpoenaed, like I said, by the SEC, which I do need to read up on a little bit more. And this right here, of course, upside offering of 650 million convertible senior notes. And then there was another catalyst that came out for the company. But overall, very, very interesting in this. Very, very interested in Mara over in the future. If it comes down to low 30s, high 30s, I will be sending out alerts to take another trade on this. Let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir was up a little bit over 2.5% yesterday. Actually, I'm in the wrong chart. So right here. So $21, $23. We're having the buyers kind of step in right now for Palantir as well. It's going to take some time. It's got a strong platform, strong growth potential. We need to let Palantir kind of materialize all that growth. Government contracts are growing, commercial contracts are growing. Earnings were absolutely fantastic for the company. The valuation still remains a little bit high based on 2021 numbers, but if you stretch that out 4 or 5 years out, it starts to make a lot of sense. And Palantir is also doing a lot, which a lot of companies aren't doing. With the big data and making sense of that data. I think data in itself is going to be a big commodity, right? In the future, it's going to be information and data. That's going to be very important 10 years, 20 years from now because of all the companies just collecting so much information from its users, from its customers. They need to make sense of it in order to be more efficient over the long term. So I think once a lot of companies really try to understand what Palantir is doing, as retention rates already been really high. We've seen those renewals with a lot of contracts with Palantir. I think it's just a matter of time before Palantir kind of blows up in the software space. They still kind of need to do a better job in their marketing, though, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of folks have mentioned this before, that their investor calls and even at their investor presentations and when they're explaining their stuff to the customers, sometimes it does get a little bit complicated and kind of fly over the head. And marketing and sales is like really, really dumbing it down, and what their software can do for the customers is really important. All right. So let's take a look at NEO. So we got a couple of questions on NEO. So we are slightly up over 0.5%. Yesterday we were down a little bit over 4.9%. Let's take a look at the Chinese EVs or just EVs in general. So NEO was down, XL Fleet, Hyliion, Volkswagen, XPeng, Tesla was down as well. How's Tesla doing? Slightly down about 1% here. We got about a minute left for the markets to open. But NEO, $38 is going to be that support. Resistance stays put at 45.50 for the company as well. The way Rivian is moving, it'll be bigger than Tesla. Oh, where is it? It's at $130 billion market. Imagine if Rivian gets to $1 trillion. That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. Obviously, it's not, well, never say never, but the chance of that happening, the probability is just so low for Rivian to get up to $1 trillion, just strictly based on momentum. Imagine just strictly based on reservations. That would be crazy. All right, 30 seconds left. Let me know what you guys think, a red day or a green day. I've already addressed my position where I see the markets going in the future, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? What were you thinking? Or is it going to be a red or a green day according to you? So you got a lot of people, red. That's good. A lot of people are expecting a red day today. All right, so the markets are open. Let's see what we got yesterday. We opened higher. We were green, but then the markets, of course, ended up selling off towards the end of the day. And Mara is down a little bit over 7% right now. We'll just open up our 4 charts. I do apologize for that. I'm still kind of recovering, not fully recovered yet. So definitely still under the weather. Take Two Interactive seeing a little bit of rally after yesterday's brutal sell-off that we saw. They actually issued a statement saying that they sincerely apologize. They're working on fixing some of those bugs on their Twitter feed, which is good. All right, Tesla flat, just over 1,011. Amazon 35.50. We got Nvidia pushing higher, and we got AMD slightly down, just about 60 basis points as well. Aaron, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Steve, you need some OJ. I definitely do. Definitely do. All right, let's take a quick look on the markets here. So Clover Health, Mara down over 7%. Quite a bit of a sell-off here on Mara, definitely. And then we got Unity Software taking a little bit of a breather. Unity Software, of course, has rallied so much in the last few months. I think almost over 200% gains for this stock. So it's rallied from under $100. I think it was like $70 or something. So 75 from May. Rallied over 173%. So definitely very, very strong momentum to the upside. RSI, of course, now well over 70, and so is the MACD pushing higher. So I think it only makes sense why we're seeing a little bit of a pullback for Unity Software. But even that is getting bought up very quickly on the day. All right, so that's that. Then we got QuantumScape on that equal weight rating, pulling back a little bit. RSI was overbought, so was the MACD. So starting to take a bit of a breather here. Coinbase down since Bitcoin and Ethereum are down. So Coinbase, of course, pulling back as well. Let's just get through the reds first, and then we'll go over to the greens. Coinbase, we covered. Growth Generation, SoFi. Wow, SoFi down over 3.5%. So this right here is the entire pattern for SoFi, right? Nice higher highs and higher lows. Feel like bank charter is just right around the corner. They're going to make an announcement, and that should be enough to catapult the stock higher to potentially new all-time highs. But I did a video on SoFi very recently, so if you haven't really checked it out, make sure to watch that as well to get more context on the business overview, the fundamentals, what the growth projections are, and how much upside I see for SoFi over the long term. But $21 right here is going to be that next support, all the way down to $19, $20 for the company as well. Southwest, Goldman. It's Goldman's downgrades. Down about 2% here because of the downgrade it received. Fubo TV coming down to a sweeter level here. I really like Fubo TV, as I mentioned in my yesterday's live stream. We'll be considering this, anywhere between these $22.50 to $24. Only as a possible swing trade, because longer term fundamentals need to get better, in my view. And they've got the subscriber growth, they've got the user growth. They're almost going to be getting up to 1 million paid subscribers, but it's going to take the fundamentals such as the free cash flows, the EBITDA, some more time to actually grow, right? Once those numbers come in and their share dilution drops, then I would feel a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable in taking a longer term position. But for now, considering this as a potential swing trade as it continues to slide here, comes down to some of those levels. So Palantir down a little bit over 1.8%. Facebook is down over 1.6%. So this is kind of like an inverse head and shoulders that I see for Facebook, right? This is the pattern that a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. If you kind of invert this chart, you can maybe see it better. So this right here is the inverse, or sort of like the head and shoulders, like a regular head and shoulders pattern for the stock now, that if we do break, we could be, breaking down here, which in reality would of course be a breakout for Facebook north of $357, right? So that's kind of like the pattern that I do see. Yesterday we did get up to as high as $353, and now we're starting to pull back once again. So we could be on our way of filling this entire right shoulder before seeing that breakout to the upside as well. Richard says, I fly Southwest and they have lost consumer confidence. Yeah, that's been one of the issues for Southwest, unfortunately, with those flight cancellations. That one weekend of disaster can really ruin their reputation, right? So it's going to take some time, in my opinion, for them to kind of rebuild that. But fundamentals remain strong. We just have to make sure the demand stays up there, and the company is able to contain some of that damage, reputational damage, and of course, people still believe and fly Southwest. And that will obviously be reflected in future earnings. We'll keep a close eye on that as well. But based on the future numbers, the company remains undervalued. What do you guys think about Tattooed Chef? I think this is going to be the story of the day. Their report at the close, they rescheduled it today after the bell, and they're trading right at support. $15, $16, I consider Tattooed Chef as a really strong support here. So we'll love to know what you guys think. What kind of numbers are they going to report? Beyond Meat reported, which dropped. I did a video on them recently. Unfortunately, the stock dropped because of the rising prices in freight, shipping, packaging. All those things are going up, and they also sort of declined year over year, right? Those revenues, those earnings. And they didn't provide a strong guidance either because of the rising prices. So Tattooed Chef, if we can get some sort of estimates from Beyond Meat, Tattooed Chef could really surprise us with better numbers. But even if they don't, I don't know if that could be priced in. Right now we're trading at $15. We've already seen it draw down here, pre-earnings down about 13-14% from highs of well over 25. We've dropped over 35%. So who knows? Maybe the market is already pricing in a poor earnings call, right? And it may not drop on those. So yeah, like George says, ER price in for Tattooed Chef could be, very well could be, right? Because we've been selling off 35% for Tattooed Chef. So all right, that's that. Wow, seems like there's a lot of red and there's green. Clover Health now down over 11% here. SoFi down over 3%. Wow, Mara is no longer in the red. Upstart is up. Just want to take a quick look on Mara. All right, so getting bought up. Look at that. Really getting bought up here. Green candle on a red day, so only down 2% now. It was down a little bit over 5%, so definitely the buyer stepping in for Marathon Digital. All right, so Apple flat. 150 is that level. 150 is kind of like, battlefield for Apple. It's just been fighting that level for so long. Square slightly green, Nvidia green, Shopify slightly higher. Amazon has a habit of toying with investors at certain levels for so long. I mean, 35.50 our alerts. If you go over to our Discord, if you're part of our Discord, if you go to that TradingView alert section, you will just see like a line of alerts for Amazon at 35.50, because it just hovers around that level. It doesn't do anything. It just closes, it trades above that level, then it ends up closing way below that. And even today, I have no confidence for Amazon to close above 35.50 because we just have sellers and resistance sitting there we end up closing way below that level. Visa, PayPal up, that's good. Activision Blizzard back up to $71. So seeing that nice recovery back up. My price target is at 87. And I do expect a 25% upside on the stock on a 12-month basis because of the valuation here. Remains very, very low. I did a complete video on this over the weekend, so make sure that you do check out that video as well. NEO is up 1.7%, so that's good. Pushing higher after yesterday's sell-off. Upstart catching some bids, pushing higher, up just over 2% here almost, and Alibaba, of course, up almost 2%. Peloton, nice push, up over 1.2%, with a Trulieve also up almost 2%, although yesterday was just a roller coaster, right? We were up over 10-11%, then it gave up all the gains, closed down red on incredible earnings, and then right now it's just up over 1.4%. So a lot of volatility for the stock, right? So quarterly revenues jumped 64%. I think this was like their 15th or 16th consecutive quarter of profitability. And the total's revenue grew 64%, 224 million. The company had completed $2.1 billion in buyout of medical pot producer Harvest Health. And Trulieve's profit rose 7%, $18.6 million, which includes $6.4 million one-time compensation. Operating expenses more than doubled for the company as well. All right, let's take a look at Micron. So Micron has had a nice breakout here from this lower highs and lower lows. So it was in this downtrending channel, just consistently dropping, trading at very low valuations. Even right now, I feel like it trades at very low valuation. We can actually check Micron here. So let's do it here. So you can already tell, right? Micron's valuation has come down so much from 2021, March 2021 levels. So, we were trading at roughly 34 to 35 times earnings right here. And now we've just dropped down to 15, which is incredibly low for the company. And this right here is going to be a price to sales, which can also be a very, very nice metric for us to look at. So we were trading as high as 4.6, which for a semiconductor company is still really, really low. This is from back in during the dot-com bubble back in 01, 02, like early 2000s. Significant drawdown. It's been kind of hovering in between this range for the longest time, between 2.7 and then this right here between half. It did get a little bit overextended, and right now we're just coming back down to 3. So definitely, from a valuation standpoint, Micron remains undervalued. There's no doubt about that, but it may be undervalued for a reason, right? Because of the revenue that we saw decline, for the last 3 years, and now we're starting to see that uptick once again for the company. $85 is going to be that next resistance. Support level is $69, $70 for the stock. All right, let's take a look at Intel. So Intel, $52 is going to be that next resistance level to keep in mind. We did drop on earnings, followed by a couple more days of selling pressure, and then a nice recovery back up to 52. It did fill most of this gap, but we still have a long ways to go for Intel to recover. And really, Intel fundamental analysis, we've done it on the channel. You guys are more than welcome to check that out. It's going to be in the Stocks Under 30 Minutes playlist. And the real question remains the CEO, right? This is the new Intel. This is not the old Intel. They're spending a lot of money, a ton of cash, $20 to $22 billion in CapEx to essentially build out their foundry and their manufacturing business. So, if you believe in the... Wow, Southwest really selling off here. For Intel, if you really believe the CEO can pull it off, if they can really compete with AMD, NVIDIA in those markets, in cloud, gaming, cryptocurrencies, metaverse, all those different things, if they can continue to design chips at a higher quality level, then Intel definitely undervalued, right? But if you don't believe in that future, if you believe AMD is going to suck all that market share from Intel, NVIDIA is going to suck all that market share from them as well, then then it's going to be a big story, because Intel has been around for a really long time, and for them to drop in revenues and the market cap to come down, it's going to be a big headline. And of course, a big story for this company as well. It's a big transition phase for the company, right? It's a big transition happening within the company and within the semiconductor industry. All right, Lucid. We're up over 8% here on earnings, although we are seeing a red candle on a green day. So high for the day, $49.96, almost $50. Wow, these are almost levels from earlier this year. All-time high sits at $64. This was obviously when they were going public. You know, we had that whole excitement for Lucid. It rallied over 547% from that SPAC price of $10 all the way to highs of $64. That was just an insane rally, coming in from January till February in 1 month. And then of course when they priced it differently, I remember the valuation got adjusted a little bit. Huge drop, and ever since then it's just been in this consolidation pattern before finally breaking out once again. So $64, new all-time high. $44 is going to be that new support level. Yes, so Rivian, let's take a look how that stock is doing. Up still 10%. A lot of volatility here, right? So a lot of indecision for Rivian as well. So we're just seeing a lot of back and forth for the company. All right, quick update on the markets. NASDAQ green now, up over 19 basis points. Look at the SPY, up over 20 basis points. And the Dow Jones also up over 144 points. Retail sales came in very, very strong, right? Very strong retail sales. Mara absolutely getting bought up. Incredible buying pressure for Mara. Tesla up almost 1%. We got AMD up almost 1%. Nvidia now flat. And Amazon is also up over 44 basis points. Q4 GDP estimates are also going to be coming out very soon. This retail sales definitely gives us a little bit of sort of like a precursor on what we can expect, right? Q3 was slowed down, 2% only GDP growth. Q1, Q2 were north of 6%. So Q4, again, people are expecting a little bit over 6% again for Q4 GDP growth year over year, which obviously is going to be super important for the markets and, of course, the economy as well. So, all right, let's take a look at the VIX. So the VIX is just flat. Nothing really, just trading over 16. VXN is also just flat, up over 1.35%. So there's not really much going on here. All right, let's take a look at DraftKings. So DraftKings just breaking down here under $40. So this right here is going to be the daily chart. We are breaking below this area of support and this area of demand below $40. We're going to turn this into a resistance and keep a close eye on when that selling pressure stops, right? So right now, just looking for when this stock price is going to stabilize, right? There's been a lot of selling pressure over the last 8 weeks, coming in from $65. This is down over 38%. I really couldn't find any reason as to why this is selling off. You know, could be the valuation contraction because it continues to trade at 14 times sales even after this pullback. But right now, just waiting for stabilization, letting this selling pressure to kind of exhaust a little bit in the future as well. So do you think NVIDIA will beat expectations on earnings? Yeah, absolutely. NVIDIA always does, have no doubt about that. Now, how the stock price is going to react, that is open for discussion. But yeah, earnings, I expect them to report very, very strong numbers. Revenue, top line revenue growth, double digits. Earnings, and different segment growth as well for the companies is going to be phenomenal. So truly back over $40, up over 4%. So hopefully we'll see what happens, but hopefully, like yesterday, we don't quite see that sell-off intraday. By the way, you guys, I just want to mention that starting next week, I'm actually going to be pre-scheduling a lot of these videos for next week because I will be traveling. So live stream wise, I'll try my best. Definitely I will to do the live streams, but depending on the Wi-Fi, depending on the connection and where I'm at, what the situation is like, may not be available for a live stream. So just giving you guys a heads up, but videos will be posted regularly for live streams. I will try to do them if I can find good Wi-Fi because I will be traveling. All right, so let's see, BNGO. So BNGO, Bionanogenomics, this is a tricky one, right? Because this has definitely had a lot of potential and still does, right? Company-wise, qualitative analysis-wise, definitely has So I'm actually traveling to London. So yeah, if anybody's there, just let me know and we'll definitely get together. But yeah, for BNGO, $5 was a support level. Right now we're seeing a little bit of a breakdown here, just under 5. 493 is where we're trading. The price of sales for this company is definitely very, very high, right? So it remains really high. It's at 91, and this is despite the sell-off, right? So 91 times sales, the valuation remains high for the company. They certainly took advantage of when the stock price was higher to raise more cash, to issue more shares. So the qualitative analysis piece, in this space, I think what is their product called? I forgot what it was, but so whatever they develop, yeah, the Sapphire system, ultra sensitive, ultra specific structural variation. So that definitely has a lot of merit, right? There's definitely a lot of qualitative analysis. There's a lot to like here, but just from the valuation standpoint and the cash flows, the EBITDA, the profitability, that unfortunately still needs to be ironed out for the company, right? It's still not yet there. So there's risk in the short term, but in my opinion, it's going to take a lot of time for this stock to be back over $16, $20 a share. Of course, the momentum can come back, a lot of excitement can come back in, but just strictly based on fundamentals, it's going to take some time for the company to find its ground, find the momentum back to new all-time highs. So, $4.25 as high as $5. Those are two support levels that I would consider to watch for BNGO. All right, let's take a look at Chegg. So Chegg continues to slide here very, very slowly. Seems like the selling pressure is now starting to exhaust, right? So you can already tell. And this is what we talk about when I mean like let the stock price stabilize a little bit, right? So you'll notice the length of these candles and how they're just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and now just like literally flattening out, right? It's more like instead of just like going down, it's more like that, slowing down sideways. So that's good because now we're starting to see some stabilization for the stock price inside the green rectangle, which is the area of support for Chegg. It kind of really was unusual for the stock to sell off like this because if you look at the weekly chart, it's had a nice uptrend, right? It's had a really nice rally coming in from February 16 till 3,700% gain. Always been on a consistent uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, and this was quite unusual for Wall Street to sell off like that on just one earnings miss, which was not even like a miss. It was like just a little bit of just missed by a few $1 million, right? And the guidance was soft, but it wasn't like a huge company disaster that resulted in this like week of 48% drop, right? So that was definitely, in my opinion, a bit of an overreaction. But once you see this, and as much as I know about the company, I feel like I might be missing something. So definitely not super excited to take a trade right away because I need to look into this company a little bit more because there could just be something behind this 48% drop, not just the earnings, but could be something else as well, right? So, and the real question really is for Chegg, how much are they going to grow next year, right? Is there a need for this service? Because there's been a lot of problems with using Chegg as well as a service. Any stocks in your buy zone at the moment? That's a great question. PayPal definitely is, or has been anywhere between 225, 200. So PayPal is. Vertex remains in the buy zone anywhere between 185, 175, 190. Walgreens hasn't really done anything in a long time. It's just been kind of like back and forth. And then Amazon's red, of course. And then Vertex, so PayPal, Vertex, Walgreens, Visa, possibly. I feel like we're just above that 100 simple moving average. This is another stock that we talked about over the weekend and yesterday as well. So Take-Two, let's take a look. Slightly up over 60 basis points. So 175, 176 is that support level. We're kind of just bouncing off of those moving averages. Wow, QuantumScape is down over 10% now. Clover held down 9, SoFi pulling back, Palantir is down. Enphase is down over 1.5%. So Enphase is another stock that we took a trade on. Definitely, well, overbought here with the RSI coming down, MACD's coming down. Been trimming some Enphase as well recently, just how much it's moved up. But overall, the market seems to be green, especially the Dow 30 stocks. If you go over to the Dow 30 watch list, you've only got Walmart that's down by a lot, but everything else really green, with Home Depot, Intel, Nike, UNH carrying most of that weight, with Disney and Procter & Gamble, Amgen also pushing higher. Mollet says Rivian delivered 100 vehicles that are already worth more than Volkswagen, the largest manufacturer in the world. This is the market we're in, man. This is the market we're in. And yeah, this is and it's a great case study. I feel like there's a lot of schools that can do case studies on this entire market, the economies, of course, and how everything played a role, because obviously the pandemic did not affect everyone equally, right? Every industry, every sector was affected vastly differently. It wasn't like, everyone, it was bad for everyone. Of course, keeping everything aside, keeping all the personal and, the cases and the death numbers, everything, all of that aside, just thinking about the numbers, about the companies and stuff, it affected so many companies differently, all right? And the EV sector was essentially born out of this somehow, along with the e-commerce and, of course, the gaming sector, a lot of other sectors. Anyway, guys, I'm actually under the weather right now, sick a lot, so I'm gonna have to call it there. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. And so that your chef is green. That's great. We'll take a look at their earnings after the markets close and listen in on the earnings call as well, and what they actually report. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to reach out on the Discord. I will be jumping over there to send out the market updates, alerts, and of course answer any questions there. As always, make sure that you drop a like, subscribe if you're new, check out the Patreon link down in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Hope you guys have a great day. Cheers.